This thing that he's doing where he's pretending that he's a woman is very smart.
It really don't make a difference if you say he or she to me.
Some psychopath can just pretend that they're a woman and knock women over on the court.
I gotta take this out.
Norman's a fucking woman, dude. I bet.
Oh,
It's a giant dude. A giant dude who's just dominating these chicks. So the more controversy there is, the more people do come to see them. The crazy thing about the WNBA, imagine if the NBA had the same sexual dynamic. Imagine if the most of the team was a bunch of gay dudes who were like very aggressive and black.
Welcome back to the Clark Update. Today, we're taking a closer look at one of the most controversial conversations surrounding women's basketball, the debate over transgender athletes, competitive fairness, and the role of politics in professional sports. Joe Rogan has become part of that conversation, while WNBA players including Brittney Griner and Sophie Cunningham have been drawn into a much larger argument about how women's sports should be defined and protected. The discussion has generated strong reactions from athletes, commentators, fans, and activists on all sides. But beneath the viral clips and heated headlines, there are important questions worth examining carefully. What exactly has been said? What are the arguments being made? And how much of what is circulating online is verified fact rather than commentary or speculation? On his podcast, Joe Rogan has repeatedly criticized sports organizations and governing bodies over policies involving transgender participation in women's athletics. His argument centers on biological differences between males and females and the possibility that physical advantages associated with male puberty can affect athletic competition. Rogan and others who share this position argue that women's sports were established partly to provide female athletes with opportunities to compete on a level playing field. They point to differences involving muscle mass, skeletal structure.
If you can't define what a woman is, then you're an idiot, and this is nonsense. And that's what your ideology is. Your ideology is so stupid, you can't define the difference between a male and a female. And so you've decided that people identifying with something means it's a real thing, and you have to say it because everybody else says it, and they scare you, and they'll cancel you and go after you. So everyone's agreed to nonsense. So this is where we painted ourselves into this dumb
structure, strength, and other physical characteristics as reasons for maintaining separate categories. Supporters of transgender inclusion, however, argue that transgender athletes should not.
Brittney Griner now adding her voice to the debate over transgender athletes. She's a WNBA star, slamming the push to ban biological men from competing against biological women.
So when someone like Brittney Griner says, actually, I'm going to fight for men to play in women's sports, it's just another blow against lots of young female athletes.
But they've painted themselves in a corner, because if they don't let the guy in, it looks bad.
Right.
But if they do, he's going to dunk.
Well, the thing is, can you define what a woman is? And until you can't, if you can't define what a woman is, then you're an idiot. And this is nonsense.
Not automatically be excluded from competition. They emphasize participation, dignity, and equal treatment, while also pointing out that policies can be designed around eligibility requirements rather than broad assumptions about individual athletes. That disagreement has become
One of the things that Joe Rogan, a prominent podcaster, one of the things that made him wake up to this issue is he's an MMA fighter.
Correct.
And when Joe Rogan saw biological males who are transitioning to female beating the hell out of biological females in the ring, he started to think,
What are we doing?
What are we
I
doing
remember
here?
seeing
Like,
that.
why are we cheering this on?
If you say anything like, look, trans women aren't women. There are men who identify as women, which is fine, but there's a biological distinction that protects women in sports, and that's chromosomes. We know XX chromosome, you're a woman, XY, you're a dude. Do it that way. Call yourself whatever the fuck you want. But if you want to play in the WNBA, you have to have X.
particularly visible in professional basketball. Brittney Griner has publicly expressed support for transgender athletes and has argued that people should have opportunities to participate in sports. Her position has attracted both support and criticism. Supporters see her comments as an appeal for inclusion, while critics argue.
Doesn't the WNBA have an onus of responsibility to be able to ensure that it's fair playership, though? I don't know if playership's a word.
For college sports and for the WNBA, too, 100%. I mean, I don't think it's ever okay for guys to be playing girl sports, but if this is true, then she was like the origin of this epidemic.
Mostly big black gay ladies and a few scared-looking Sophie Cunninghams that have to point fingers at people. You're surrounded by people who think you're perhaps sexually attractive.
They've made it into a reality show. It's become like Real Housewives. They're all just fight now.
Right.
That's the only reason you watch.
But it is an interesting sexual dynamic.
that women's sports require clear boundaries based on sex to preserve competitive fairness. Those competing perspectives have created a wider conversation about what fairness actually means. Sophie Cunningham, meanwhile, has become a prominent figure in dance.
You're going to have a tremendous platform, but where is that going to be on your radar in terms of advocating for athletes, all athletes, transgender athletes to be able to play?
Oh, I mean, that ranks high on the list of things that I'll be fighting for and speaking up against. You know, everyone deserves the right to play.
The WNBA's Brittney Griner is a man.
That's not a woman. That's not a female. That's not even a trans person. That is a man.
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man.
Discussions surrounding the WNBA's culture and treatment of its players. Some commentators have portrayed her as a representative of a growing group of athletes who are willing to challenge prevailing opinions within professional sports. But it is important not to turn individual players into symbols for arguments they have not explicitly made. A viral clip, social media.
It really don't make a difference if you say he or she. To me, like when I'm out in public, like my teammates sometimes will get mad if somebody call me a he, but I'm just like, I don't care. Like, you know, we go sit down and get some food and they're like, sir, what do you want? I'm like, yeah, let me get the steak, medium well. Thank you. I'm in TSA and I'm going through TSA and, you know, the guy pats me down so I could go through. I'm cool. I didn't have people come running like, no, it's a girl. I'm like, hey, you're making it awkward. Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to get through. Whoever could pat me down the fastest, I don't care.
Yeah.
I've had the opposite where someone was like, hey, you know, it's just against the rules. Like, he can't pat you down. Like, she has to pat you down. And then she walks up and she's looking at me. She goes looking at my chest, looking me up and down, looking at my chest, trying to look at the ID. Making it awkward, or they'll ask me, you really a girl? Nah, I'm like.
Media post or commentator's description does not necessarily establish a player's complete position on transgender participation or league policy. The same caution applies to claims circulating about other athletes and commentators. Figures such as Martina Navratilova and Sharon Davies have been outspoken about maintaining sex-based categories in women's sport.
Everyone deserves the right to play, so she's now weighed in on this. She's got a big voice.
I suppose it's sort of lucky that Brittney Griner's not just starting off, because if these are the rules when she was starting off, then the whole thing might be different. The problem we have in America on this is that there's a very distinct lack, actually, of women defending women in the public square on issues like this. And that isn't the case in every other country. And for instance, in my own country of origin, Britain, there have been very, very prominent women, not just in sports, but across the political and social platforms who have objected to precisely.
Both have argued that biological differences can matter significantly in athletic competition. Their views have made them influential voices in the debate, but they have also faced criticism from people who believe transgender athletes should be included. The disagreement is not limited to basketball. Similar arguments have appeared in swimming, track and field, cycling, combat sports, and other disciplines. Different sports have different physical demands, which is why governing bodies have adopted different eligibility rules. That distinction often disappears on social media, where complicated policy questions are reduced to simple slogans. Another major issue is the way this controversy is being presented by online commentators. Some videos and posts make dramatic claims about league executives, alleged conspiracies, secret investigations, or supposedly suppressed evidence. Those claims can spread rapidly without reliable documentation.
A woman decided to stand up for women and female spaces. And that woman is now getting lambasted by other women because she doesn't support transgender people in female spaces. Sophie Cunningham, who many of you will probably know from this video, recently got herself in hot water because she had the audacity to say that women and girls should be protected.
WNBA star Sophie Cunningham, who plays guard for the Indiana Fever, when an ESPN feature quoted her opposition towards biological men competing in women's sports. She said she wanted to protect young girls both on court as well as in the locker room, calling her position kind of common sense. It has everything to do with reality.
For that reason, viewers should be cautious about treating viral allegations as established facts. The WNBA is already experiencing a period of enormous attention. The arrival of major young stars, especially Caitlin Clark, has brought millions of new viewers to women's basketball and generated unprecedented interest in games, players, and league storylines. That growth creates both an opportunity and a challenge. The league has a chance to build a much larger audience around elite basketball, compelling personalities, rivalries, and historic performances. At the same time, controversies involving politics, player relationships, officiating, social issues,
This jersey used to represent someone I respected as an athlete. Today it represents something I can't support anymore. Sports have the power to bring people together, but when someone uses their platform to demonize or marginalize an already vulnerable community, I have to decide where I stand. I'm burning my support. As a trans woman, I've spent years fighting just to exist authentically.
I will never understand how these people think this is some sort of a win for their side. Like, I am begging you people to be normal. Despite the monumental freakout, Cunningham didn't back down, which we love to see.
And league policies can dominate public discussion. Some fans believe the WNBA should concentrate on basketball and avoid becoming consumed by political disputes. Others argue that athletes have every right to speak about issues that affect their lives and communities. Both sides are part of the audience, and dismissing either group can make the conversation more divisive. The debate over transgender participation also deserves.
Brittney Griner, the WNBA's Brittney Griner, is in fact a man.
Value, Brittney. Let me see something real quick. Brick, thank you.
Damn. Look at the chest.
Jab stepping, Mr. Brick. Swing and a miss.
It's very clearly Brittney.
I ain't gonna fake it right now.
They called him/her by their name. And as you can clearly see here, his bare chest is completely...
Deserves more nuance than the typical online shouting match. There are legitimate questions about competitive equity, inclusion, eligibility standards, and the purpose of sex-separated sports. There are also real concerns about discrimination and the treatment of transgender people. Recognizing those competing concerns does not require accepting every argument made by either side. It is also worth separating professional women's basketball from school and college sports. Different levels of competition operate under different rules, governing organizations, and legal frameworks. Policies can change, and what applies in one setting may not apply in another. That is why claims about Title IX...
Again, cultural power. This is why the WNBA this is not going to go away. This issue is not going to go away. They're in such a bad position here. Caitlin Clark, they have cultural power. People love them. People are buying tickets that would never care about the WNBA. There's a reason why people call Sophie Cunningham MAGA Barbie, and people are starting to fill the arenas to watch her and Caitlin Clark. She's not apologizing for saying that there should be no men in this woman's sport. It's caused an absolute crisis. People are losing their mind.
Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
These women spent $1,000 on tickets to attend the Indiana Fever versus Atlanta Dream game, specifically to see Sophie.
Professional leagues, taxpayer-funded programs, or educational opportunities should be checked against the actual regulations governing the specific competition. The larger lesson is that women's sports deserve serious discussion rather than endless outrage. Female athletes have spent decades building opportunities, scholarships, professional leagues, and pathways for future generations. Protecting those opportunities is an important goal. At the same time, public debate should avoid turning transgender athletes into caricatures or assuming that every individual case is identical. As for Joe Rogan's criticism, people can reasonably disagree with his conclusions while still engaging with the questions he raises.
This thing that he's doing where he's pretending that he's a woman is very smart.
It really don't make a difference if you say he or she to me.
Some psychopath can just pretend that they're a woman and knock women over on the court.
I gotta take this out. Norman's a fucking woman, dude.
I bet.
It's a giant dude. A giant dude who's just dominating these chicks. So the more controversy there is, the more people do come to see them. The crazy thing about the WNBA, imagine if the NBA had the same sexual dynamic. Imagine if the most of the team was a bunch of gay dudes who were like very aggressive.
Likewise, people can support Brittney Griner's position without dismissing concerns about competitive fairness. The most productive conversation is one that relies on evidence rather than exaggerated headlines. And for the WNBA, the stakes are bigger than any single controversy. The league has an opportunity to capitalize on the extraordinary attention surrounding its players and growing fan base. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Brittney Griner, and the rest of the league's stars are part of a much larger story about the evolution of women's professional basketball. The future of the sport should ultimately be measured by the quality of its competition, the opportunities available to female athletes, the treatment of players, and the ability of fans with different viewpoints to remain engaged. So what do you think? Should women's professional sports use stricter sex-based eligibility rules? How should leagues balance competitive fairness with inclusion? And should athletes and sports organizations openly engage in these cultural debates, or would fans rather see the focus remain on basketball? Share your perspective in the comments. Keep the conversation respectful, check the facts behind viral claims, and remember that disagreement does not have to mean hostility. If you enjoyed this breakdown, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel for more updates on Caitlin Clark, the WNBA, women's basketball, and the biggest stories shaping the sport. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.